Okay, so in this video, I'll be demonstrating how to model a MacBook Air. So I already prepared some images that I've downloaded into my source images folder in the project folder. So here are the images. Okay, so I got a rough dimension of the MacBook Air from this top-down view of the keyboard. So this one will be very, very helpful. So basically, I'll be modeling the entire MacBook based on this shape. Okay, so from what I've observed from the pictures, right, there are several features of the MacBook. It has a very large trackpad, and then it has this particular notch over here. It has a slight depression on the keyboard well over here. So from this machine piece of aluminum. So what I'm going to do is that we'll try to recreate this shape first, and then using the Boolean tools, okay, then we're going to cut these holes, and then we're going to place the keys on top of it. Now, if I want something that actually has good topology, right, then I'll have to spend much more time to cut all these extra holes. So I think later when I start to do the modeling, I'll see how much time it requires for me to cut the holes. If it's taking too much time, I'll just skip the whole process and I'll just place the keys on top of the surface, which will give the same illusion as well. Okay, so let's just get started with this image first. So I will open up this image in the image editor. In this case, I'll use Photoshop. Just simply right mouse click on the image and open with Photoshop. This is a quick way for you to open an image without having to go into Photoshop and open it from within. Alright, once the image is loaded, we want to change the canvas size into a square. So image canvas size, change it into a square. So the width is 1920, so I'm going to change the height to 1920 so that this image eventually will become a square image like this. I'll save this image, I'll overwrite the original image, then I'll go into Maya, create a plane of only 1 by 1 divisions, scale it up, right mouse click on it and assign a new surface shader material under assign favorite material. So surface shader, press number 6 right to turn on texture display, right mouse click, go to material attributes, go over to the out color, click on the checker pattern, click on file and choose the image. Now I should be able to see the keyboard image that is just modified, so it should be the last one, yeah, this one, and open. Then we should be able to see the image right in the correct aspect ratio showing up properly. So this size is good, so I'm just going to use this one as a basis for me to start modeling. And now I don't really need to use to create the front view or side view for reference, because the shape of this MacBook is very, very simple. So I'm going to use this right now to first create the entire body of the laptop. So I'm going to freeze the transformation of this reference. So go and freeze the transformation, add it into the layer, click on this layer options and then freeze it so that I will not be able to select it. So the first thing obviously I need to create is a plane, right? So go ahead and just create a plane, and then this polyplane, right, we're going to reduce it to 1 by 1. I'm going to rename this polyplane and call it MacBook body, so which is what it's going to be. So I'm going to scale this up until it's roughly the shape of the MacBook. I'm going to switch over to my X-ray view, scale it up until the sides are the same, and then scale this down until the width is the same. Okay, roughly like that. Okay, maybe I'll scale it up a little bit more. Okay, I want to hold down the control while scaling. Okay, I'm going to move this down slightly a little bit and then do the scale again so I can get it to match the size exactly. Okay, good. Now it's lining up. Then I'll apply a freeze transformation again. Okay, then go and select and extrude the entire face. So we have the MacBook base body done. Okay, now I need to bevel the sides and then the bottom at the same time. So go and select all the edges, right, at the bottom and at the side, all the corner edges like that. So if you take a look at it, I only need to select all these edges because we're going to apply a bevel. Bevel the edge, and okay, right now the beveling is not happening, so I think I'm going to delete away the history, and I think I will just bevel. Let me try beveling it again. Okay, do not know why it's not beveling. I should be able to bevel these corners. Control B, and then increase the segment. Now nothing is happening. Okay, never mind. I'm going to try another method. I'm going to select only the corners, and then we'll do the bottom bevel later on. Okay, only select the corners and bevel. This should work. Okay, something is not working. I think my bevel needs to be reset. Let me just recreate the body, but this time I will use a cube instead. Now I have no idea why the extruded plane doesn't work, so I'm going to use a cube. This one should work. So I'm going to scale the cube up like that first, and then scale it into the shape of the MacBook. Alright, so use the top view and then the side view. Okay, switching back to perspective, and then scale it down appropriately to the size of the MacBook. Okay, so then freeze transformation. Alright. Now I'm going to try the method to bevel again. So I don't know what went wrong earlier on. And select these corners. Then apply a bevel. Shift right mouse click and bevel the edge. And now it's working. So I have no idea what's wrong just now. So I'm going to give it about 4 segments. And you can see straight away I have the corners, the rounded corners created nicely for me. So I'm going to increase the fraction so that it follows the curvature, okay, of my reference. Okay, I think I can increase the fraction a little bit more, maybe 1.2, okay, 1.4. Yeah, so I want the curvature to be based on the reference. Okay, so that's good enough for me. So let's go out of X-ray view. Okay, so right now the bevel, I think has gone beyond and it's given me this weird looking shape. Let me undo that. Yeah, I'm going to switch back to the original bevel size. Okay, right now I have problems following this edge over here, so I might have to increase the size of the. Okay, the fraction, this is the maximum it can go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is that maybe I'll just isolate one of the corners and then recreate this whole thing again. So I'm going to insert an edge loop. Cut it right across here, and then cut it right across here like that as well. And I'm going to delete away half of this. Okay, unfortunately I cannot insert edge loop here, so I'll have to manually cut this myself. Okay, I'll cut one edge loop here. The top face, I'll delete it for the time being, and I'll just get rid of these faces. Yeah, so because I want to get the corner size to be as accurately as possible. So go over to vertex, grab these vertices and move them in first like that. I will rebuild this corner later on. So grab this entire section and then we're going to scale it up, move it around, until the corners. You can see now it is matching perfectly. So this is the curvature that I want. Alright, so once this is done, then I can use reset the pivot point of this object. So press D, and then I'm going to align it here for the time being. Okay, Control Shift, and then set it to the world axis, and then press D again to get out of pivot. Okay, right now the most important thing is I got this curve done. So now I'm going to do a mesh mirror. Okay, and I want to change it, the direction to the x-axis is fine, direction maybe to negative. Yeah, so you can see the other side is now created. Alright, so now I want to do another mirror, but I'm going to mirror it to the world z-axis. Alright, so I'm going to apply this. I'm going to press a delete away history, Alt Shift D, then go to mesh and then mirror again, but this time change the direction to negative and then change it to Z, and then you can see the corners now are recreated. Right. Alright, so we have the 4 corners of the MacBook created, because from the side view, looking at the reference, the side view of the MacBook, right, the bottom is curved like that. So that is why I need to use the bevel to bevel the corners like this. Alright, so now I need to connect these 4 corners together. So I'm going to select this edge, Shift Select, and then select this edge, Shift Select, then bridge them together. Do the same for the other side. Select this edge, hold down the Shift, double click, select this edge, Shift, double click, Shift right mouse click, and then bridge. Okay, then now this edge here, if you double click, you will select the entire open edge, which is not what we want. We only want to select from this edge here to this edge. The other opposite side, same thing. Hold down the Shift, select this edge, and Shift, double click to select this edge, then Shift right mouse click, and then bridge. Okay, it took us a while to create this bottom part, but at least now this part is accurate. Okay, now I want to select this entire face up like that, and then fill the hole like this. So now we have the bottom section of the MacBook body created. I'm going to name it accordingly. Okay, so now I will do some connections so that the topology will be good. So I'll go over to vertex mode, select this vertex, and then connect them. Do the same for this vertex and this vertex. Press G, repeat last command. Alright. And I'm going to use the knife tool, multi-cut tool, cut from here and to here. Repeat the same for the other side, click and drag, and then click and drag all the way here. Alright, so we have our MacBook body done. And now we want to switch to X-ray view, shading X-ray view. We want to see how big is the keyboard. The keyboard tray area is on top over here. So I'm going to shift the topology lines, these vertices, not this one, these vertices here. I'm going to slide them until they are reaching the top here. Let me go to the top view, it's easier to see. I'm going to move this all the way here. This is where the keyboard well is, and then right about here. Okay, let me temporarily turn to wireframe and also get rid of X-ray view. Let's see. Okay, I need to go and turn on shaded view again. Alright, I'm going to temporarily hide my MacBook body and just want to verify the size of the well. Okay. Display, show all. Okay, I'm going to assign a new material, a Lambert material to the body so that I can adjust the transparency, because it's a bit hard for me to see what is going on here. Okay, so now the edge loop for this one, I need to push it all the way here. This edge loop, I'm going to push it all the way here, so that I can start to extrude out my keyboard well. Okay. Now, in order to make my model a bit simpler, I will try to detach this well here rather than extrude it inwards. Okay, I'm going to reduce my transparency so I can see this. Right, now's a good time to save. Say scene as, I'm going to call this Macbook Air _01. Alright, so I can now select this face here. Alright, and then extrude it inwards. Hold down to shift and extrude it downwards. That will be the keyboard wheel well. Problem with this model right now is that if I press number 3, right, you can see that it doesn't subdivide very well. Okay, the bottom seems to be okay, but for the rest of it doesn't look too good. Because there are a number of issues with this model. We have a bunch of multi-sided faces over here. So let's fix it. So go to vertex mode. Let's go to vertex mode. Then use the multi-cut tool. Okay, I have to switch to edge mode first. Multi-cut tool, and then cut from here all the way to here. Press enter. Going to do the same for this part here. We're going to cut from here, then hover over the edge, click and drag, press enter. Going to do the same for here. Hover over the edge, click and drag until it stops at the vertex, then come down to here, click and drag, and then cut all the way across. Okay, I have to cut one more time, maybe one by one for this one. This one doesn't seem to want to cut all the way. Okay, and then finally over here, yeah. Alright, so now the edges, the corners here are a little bit better, but we can still improve it. Let's go to level 1 again. Remember, we want to keep everything 4-sided, so we're going to cut from here to here. Use the connect tool in vertex mode. These two vertices, shift right mouse click connect. These two over here, press G to repeat last command. Press G and repeat last command. Okay, so now we need to fix the corners here in order to give it the nice keyboard well look, because if I press number 3 right now, you can see that this is a mess. So what I'm going to do is we are going to add a few more edge loops that run across here. Okay, here, over here, just to build up a stronger corner area, like that. So if I press number 3, now I can see the well is looking much better. And I need to add another edge loop to hold the corner edge here a bit tighter. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, now I need to reserve a bit of space for the trackpad. Now the trackpad itself is actually a separate piece. So let's go to material attributes. Right mouse click material attributes again and make it transparent. Now the trackpad itself is a piece, right, that is cut out from a hole over here. So what we can do is that we can actually cut a hole from this section here. So I'm going to insert one edge loop right about here, one edge loop here, and then one edge loop here. Okay, again this one is a subdivided version, so I need to go to level 1 and go to the top view and see what it looks like. Okay, go to select. I'm going to select this edge, In fact, select the entire edge loop by double clicking and then move it until it covers the trackpad location. Alright, good. So the trackpad actually starts right at the edge and then it ends right at the just before the keyboard well. Yeah, so it ends about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this face. Okay, let's see. Do we have enough subdivisions over here to cut? Okay, let me see whether I can insert one more edge loop right across here. Okay, good. I can insert one more edge loop here. So I can delete away these two faces. So if I delete away these two faces, if I press number 3, right, you'll have a very nasty looking hole over here. We need additional supporting edge loops that cuts across, right, to bring a harder corner. Okay, so let me undo that. No, actually, I will not undo. I will just insert a few more supporting edge loop close to the edge here to maintain the hole, the shape of the hole. If I press number 3, okay, the sides are okay, it's just the top over here needs another extra edge loops. Okay, maybe it's here. Yeah, this one. Let me go to level 1. Okay, I need to insert one edge loop here. And you can see the corner is a little bit better now. Okay, another edge loop here. And here. Let's take a look. Yeah, much better. So this is level 3. And the MacBook body is looking much better. So let's reduce the transparency. Yeah. So this is what the body looks like. We have a big hole over here, but it's okay because that is where the pad is supposed to be. The trackpad is supposed to be. Okay, now I want the corners here to be sharper, so I'm going to insert one edge loop right near to the edge like this. Okay, so now you can see the corners are looking much better. Okay, so for the hole over here, I can select this open loop. Alright, and I can fill it up first. Fill the hole. Right, so it'll cover up like this. I'll select the center face and then I will detach the center face into a new object. Alright. Then I'll go back to the original object, which is the main body. Now I will move the trackpad object that I detached away first, away from the body. Then go and delete away this face. And for this particular face, I'll do some cleanup. Alright, I will actually, in order to keep the corners, if it's subdivided, I will connect these vertices. And then the knife tool. And then just hover over the edge and then cut. Press enter. Hover over the edge and cut. Okay, let me undo that. Over the edge, click and drag. Hover over the edge, click and drag, and then press enter. Alright, so this particular shape, right, if I press number 3, okay, it should maintain the square shape. So now I can bring this down. I can scale it ever so slightly so that there's a slight gap. Okay, I'm going to center the pivot for this one. Click on the center pivot symbol here. Scale it very, very slightly. Then I'm going to move this up slightly. Now all the corners here, I'll just select and then hold down the shift and extrude it down slightly. Same for the main object here, I'll select the open hole, then shift and then extrude it down slightly. Alright, so now you can see we have a very nice MacBook body. Okay, right now it's just missing the keys. Right, so for the keys, we are going to create a chiclet style keyboard. So now the body and the trackpad is done. I will just hide them first. Now I'm going to separate them from the extraction transformed in the outliner. So I'll take the trackpad, take it out first. I'm going to call this the trackpad. And then this one, middle mouse click and drag, I'm going to call this the MacBook body. And freeze transformation, delete history for everything, Alt-Shift-D, Alt-Shift-D. Okay, and then all the transforms should disappear. And now it's a good time to save, increment and save. Okay, so now I can hide these two. Okay, I can select them and press H to hide them. And now I'll work on the screen itself. Now the screen, right, from this picture you can see the screen looks like it's bigger, but actually because of perspective, it looks wider. I'm going to temporarily unhide the MacBook Air again, so it is visible. So I'll select it in the outliner, then go under display, show selection, Shift H. All right. So what I need to do is to extract out the edge and then recreate the lid. So I want the lid, right, to cover the screen exactly. So I'll go to level 1. And I think I need to fix the topology here. Okay, I want to temporarily fix this one because after inserting the edge loop here, it is messing up the shape a little bit. Okay, holding down the Control and Shift, we can slide it out a little bit. Same for this side. Okay. All right, I think I'm just going to use the same method that I do earlier actually on second thought. Better not. I'll just select this edge, hold down the Shift and select all the entire edge. I want to see whether I can extract out the entire edge. Okay, I'm going to do this process in a little bit convoluted way. First, I'm going to select the edge that runs across the corner of the MacBook. Then I'm going to click on Modify. And then I'm going to convert polygon edges to curve. Then after that, right, I want to convert the curve, or rather the curves. I see whether I can convert it back to polygons again. Let's see whether I have this option here. No, to polygons. Yeah, actually we do have that. Okay, so right now I created a curve. Okay, the curve, right, is not behaving here. Doesn't look very good. It's all right over here. I tell you what, I think I'll just recreate the shape for the top cover. So what I'm going to do is I will create a cube first. I'm going to scale up the cube. I'm going to use channel box and to scale up the cube. Scale it up until it is the same width, like that. Then using the adjust the width until it's the same shape as the laptop, as close as I can get. Then the height, reduce it. Then I'm going to move this up and also reduce the thickness again. Alright, so this is roughly the thickness of the MacBook Air. Okay, I think we got it pretty close. Alright, so I'm going to freeze the transformation. Delete away any history. There's not much history here, just the transformation. Alt-Shift-D. Then I'm going to grab the corners and recreate the screen. Okay, so Shift right mouse click and then just bevel the edge. Okay, this time we have a much bigger fraction that we can play with. Right, so I think earlier on I couldn't get this effect was because I started with a smaller scale. Right, this time I have a much bigger scale. I can increase the fraction, and then I can increase the segments to 4. And roughly we get it to match the same curvature. Alright, so now we have the screen done. The screen is very straightforward, nothing fancy. I think this is good enough. Then I will also assign this screen. I can now hide the body, the MacBook body. Press H to hide it. Then for the screen, I can assign it the same material, Lambert material that I assigned, so that I can make it transparent. So I adjust the transparency so I can see through it. Give it a little bit more transparency. And just check the curvature is about the same. Actually, it's pretty close. Just the height difference only. I'm going to jump over the vertices, grab the top vertices, press W, and then move them down until it matches the same size as the reference. Okay, good. This is good enough. Now, for the corners, I definitely want to bevel them, but first I need to fix the topology. First, I'm going to get rid of the sides. Okay, so select one face, shift select, and then delete this. And we're going to select the bottom face. Okay, and delete it as well. We just need the top face. Okay, we can re-extrude everything again later, because I do not want to do the fixing of the topology twice. Okay, so I want to select the center face and first do an extrude, and then do an offset so that it extrudes inwards evenly like that. So this will become the screen. Alright. It also makes it easier for me to do the beveling later on. Alright, so with that, okay, we can select the outer edge, or actually we're going to select everything. Go to face, select the entire face, then we're just going to extrude it out to form the screen. Okay, somehow it is not extruding properly. I'll try again. Holding down the shift and extrude. Okay, why is it not extruding the sides? Okay, so that is not a good sign. Let me undo that. Okay, I'm going to try another way to extrude. So I'll select the outer edge. Now for some reason, right, the outer edge, right, the perimeter is not being selected. Okay, something is wrong with the shape. Okay, let me just undo and see, go back to the point, yeah, where we were here. I want to see whether I can extrude this. Yeah, now the extrusion works. Okay, I have no idea what's going on. Right, I'm going to scale this, the extrusion inwards one more time. Shift right mouse click, extrude. Then I'm going to use uniform scale. No, uniform scale doesn't work. I need to use, okay, one more time. Shift right mouse click, extrude, and use offset. Holding down the control key and then extrude it inwards to form the bezel and the screen. Then I'll go to edge mode. Okay, again, I don't know why the edge is not selecting the entire perimeter. Okay, this is very strange. Alright, I'm going to select all the faces and see whether I can extrude everything out. And for some reason, my extrusion are not connecting. This is very strange. Okay, let me undo that. Alright, I'm going to skip this process. I will undo back to the original shape. Okay, and then I'm also going to, I suspect maybe it's the transparency. Okay, I'm going to reduce the transparency to 0. Okay, I'm going to move the whole screen up and select the bottom face and extrude it and use an offset to create the screen bezel. Okay, at least that works. Okay, now hopefully if I double click, it should, again, it's not going around, only the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to fix the topology for the top part first. Okay, so since the early attempt doesn't work, select this vertex, shift select this vertex, and connect. Just select this one, then press G to connect. Okay, I don't know why is it using the connect tool instead rather than connecting straight. I'm going to use multi-cut tool to cut from here to here. Alright, I managed to cut across. Right now I will just connect these two vertices. This vertex and this vertex, shift right mouse click and then connect components. Select these two, then press G, connect components. Press G and connect components. And then these two, press G and connect components. Okay, so hopefully now I should be able to double click and select the entire edge. Still doesn't let me select. Okay, there's a way to actually select the perimeter using selection conversion. So I'm going to start with the face, then shift full stop to increase selection, then holding down the control to edges, edge perimeter. So that's one way to get around that. Going to apply a bevel, very tiny bevel, not a very big one. Holding down control, very tiny bevel like that. Do the same for the bottom, double click, and then this one, because they are four-sided, I can double click and select all the edge loop across like that. Then shift right mouse click and then apply a bevel. Then just a very tiny amount. And essentially our screen is done. Now I don't know why it took so long just now earlier on. Okay, right now I think I need an extra edge loop in between these bevels, because the bevels are not holding very well. So I'm going to select this edge and use the multi-cut tool. Yeah, I think I should have used two sections instead. Yeah, one here, middle mouse click, and middle mouse click here. Alright, so if I press number 3, yeah, now the corners are holding up much better. Alright, so we have an issue with the screen. Okay, the screen edge, what do you call it, the bezel doesn't look nice. So we need to fix the topology of the screen. And again, because if you think of the laptop as a separate item, think of the screen as a separate item, we can actually remove the screen LCD panel from here, and then put it back again just like what we did for the trackpad, and then it should maintain its edges. And that is what I want to do right now. So select this face, use the detach new object, okay, and so that when we press number 3 for this, okay, it's going to have this nasty edge loop again. We're trying to fix the corners for the other side. Alright, and I'm going to delete away this face. Yeah, and then you can see now the corners look fine. Then for the detached screen, which is this one, alright, we're going to select the corners, or select the edge loop. Alright, and then we're going to extrude it out. So first I'm going to scale this ever so slightly, just a tiny amount. Then with the edges still selected, then we're just going to extrude it inwards like that. Okay, but for this particular screen, we will have to cut the topology. Alright, so let's go to level 1. And same thing again, go over to edge, multi-cut the corners like that. Press enter. I'm going to start with the connect at first, otherwise it's going to take too long. So select this vertex and this vertex. Shift right mouse click and connect. Okay, and we're going to do multi-cut now. Let's go to edge mode first. Okay, I'm going to maximize my screen because it's a bit hard to see. Okay, hover over the edge, click and drag until it hits the vertex. Over to the next edge, then click and drag until it hits the other. And we're done for this section. Then what about here? Hover over the edge, left mouse click and drag until it hits the vertex. Move to the bottom here. Okay, left mouse click over the edge until it's highlighted. And then press enter. Okay, go to vertex mode now. Right mouse click to vertex mode, press Q to select these two. Shift right mouse click and connect. Do the same for all the 4 corners. Press G, repeat last command. Press G, repeat last command. And press G, repeat last command after you selected the 2. So our screen now is fixed. If I press number 3 to subdivide it, it should look fine. And then we can put our screen back. Okay, so now I think I need to add another edge loop, right, to make the corners a bit tighter. So I'm going to select this edge loop that runs across. So again, if you want to select the edge loop, rather than clicking them one by one, you can select, do selection conversion, select the central face, press Shift full stop to increase the selection, holding down the Control right mouse click to edges to edge perimeter. So right now the edge perimeter is selected. I can add a bevel of 2 steps. So Control Shift right mouse click, bevel edge, use a very tiny fraction of 0.2, 0.02 or 0.03, and then use 2 segments. This should give a much nicer corner. You can see that now this is much sharper edge, and this will do well for the screen. Okay, so now we have a nice big screen. We also have a nice body. The last thing we need to create is our keys. All right. So for the MacBook body, let me Shift H to unhide it. Then our trackpad also, Shift H to unhide it. Now in the interest of time, I will not be modeling the edges or the other details like the slots. Okay, so I will move the pivot point down until to the bottom here. And also I'll parent the screen to the screen frame. So press P. So now I can select this piece here, position it onto the laptop like that. And then we can make it open and close at a correct angle. Now I'll probably add the other fixtures, right, in another video. But right now, let me just create the keys. Okay, so the keys are made up of we call the chiclet types keys. So right now I'll just hide everything. Just press H to hide, and good time to save as well. So File, Increment and Save. Let's go to the top view and create a single cube. And this cube will be the basis for all the keys in on the keyboard here. So I want to find one row, right, where the keys are spaced out in a consistent distance. So I'll move the cube right over a key, scale it out until it matches the shape, and I'm going to apply this Lambert 2 material, give it some transparency. Okay, so I can see through this. I'm going to go to vertex and select all the vertices at the corner here, holding down the Control, convert to edges. Okay, actually it's like all the edges for me. That's not what I want. I only want the 4 corner edges to be selected. So I'm going to try another method. Go to face selection mode, select the face loop around the cube, then hold down the Control to edges, okay, to edges. Again, you select the top. Okay, let me undo. Let me try another option. Contain edges. Yeah. All right. So now you see all the 4 edges are selected for me. and I will apply a bevel. Give it again 4 segments, and then reduce the fraction until you can see the curvature matches the curvature of the keyboard or the key buttons. Right, I think I need the fraction to be smaller, and the scale of my keys to be smaller as well. So I'm going to select this entire cube, scale it down until it matches the shape. Okay, this one looks good. Right, now I can scale this down flat like that. Okay, again, we need all this to subdivide properly. So the bottom face, right, we can delete. This will make it a little bit easier to do the topology. Then go to vertex mode. We'll do the same thing, the connecting options again. So connect. Press G to connect. Now we have to switch to the knife. Cut from here to here. And cut from here to here. Alright, then we will do another connect again. Press Q to select these two. Shift right mouse click, connect components. Okay, I'll finish the keys and then that will be the end for this part. Press G to connect. Alright, so now we did one chiclet key. Now to make it look a bit nicer, we're going to bevel the corners here, so they will subdivide nicer as well. So same thing, I'm going to select the central face, shift full stop to increase selection, hold on to control right mouse click to to edges, to perimeter, so only the perimeter is selected. Control B, okay, reduce the fraction to a very small number. Okay, and then give it 2 segments. So we created our chiclet key. So if I press number 3, and if you see it in solid mode, we have a nice looking key. So now from this key we can create all our keys. So I'm going to bring it down. Let me turn on temporarily unhide my MacBook body. I just want to bring it to the correct level. Okay, like that. That looks fine. Right, then I'll hide my MacBook body again. Now, let's go to the top view, and now this is how you rapidly duplicate. You already know the clone and duplicate. Let me just save this first in case anything happens. Right, select the key, holding down the shift, and clone until it reaches to the next key. Then you know the next step is just press Shift D, and then you see all your keys are created instantly. Now, you only want to create the keys, right, that are the same shape. For the non-similar shape keys, right, we can create one later and adjust it to match the size. Now we have this entire row of keys. All we need to do is to select them, shift select all the keys, and holding down the clone again, and then clone it another row. And since they are well evenly placed, right, you just need to drag until all the keys are spaced together like that. So you can create them very quickly. So we're going to hold down to shift and then drag another row, and now this row of keys are done. See how fast I'm creating these keys. Okay, next I'm going to duplicate another row, then duplicate like this, then hold on to shift and then duplicate another row right over here. Okay, finally the last row right over here. Okay, so we created some additional keys, and of course the space bar, we will fix it accordingly. So there are smaller cursor keys, right? I'm going to reserve 3 for 3 of the, actually I'm going to delete one of them. I'm going to rescale them until it matches. So right now I'm just moving the keys right to the correct position. Okay, some of them are slightly longer than the others. Okay, so this is the space bar. I will delete the keys that are over the space bar. This one is slightly longer. So how do you fix the shape? Now you do not use scale to scale it. You should go to component mode, select the vertices, and then pull them apart instead. Alright, so for the elongated keys, we just need to duplicate one like that, put it in one corner, Then go to the vertex, grab the vertices on one side and then pull it out until it matches. That's all. That's how you quickly create the keys. Okay, remember this is for the chiclet style keys. Okay, there's another type of keys, right, which is the traditional keyboard type of key buttons, right, which is slightly different than this. Okay, we got another long key here, so I'll delete these. This is the shift key. Just move this over here, then stretch it until it fits. So this one, I'm going to delete this. This is that return or enter key. And of course, we have our space bar. I'm going to put this one in the center here. Select the vertex, move it here. Select the vertices here, and then stretch it to move it over there. Okay, this one is slightly bigger. So remember, you are supposed to move only the vertices, like that. And finally, what about this one? This one looks a little bit unique. So this one, we have to create a special key that is crushed down like that. Okay, and then I'm going to center the pivot. Okay, hold down the shift, duplicate. Okay, actually this one is a unique key. It has a separate segment over here that can toggle up and down. But I'm just going to repeat and use these two keys. Okay, in the interest of time. All right, so the keyboards are created. So I will select all the keys. Select all the keys and then combine them together. Okay, and then Alt-Shift-D to delete away the history. Okay, so we still have this, oh yeah, these are the monitors. Okay, I have not separated them. So for the monitor, let me unhide them for the time being. Okay, and I will just unparent them for the time being and delete away the history. Name them accordingly. This is the screen, and this one is the screen frame, and the newly connected one, these are the keyboard. All right, so the base shape of my laptop is done. Let me unhide my MacBook body, and that's it. You can see this is the MacBook Air. Let me hide my grid also. So this is the MacBook that I have done. So let me turn on the wireframe, Alt-5. So you can see this is the result. So only thing that I'm missing right now are the slots or the hinges, and then the central notch over here. Then pretty much the laptop is done. So this is the proper way to do it. Don't try to model everything as a single mesh. You model the section, each piece by piece. It's much more manageable. And in terms of topology and wireframes, right, easier to manage as well. Okay, don't be tempted to just take one cube and then try to cut it up and then extrude everything from the same cube. You just create a giant topological mess, right? Okay, I'm going to turn on the viewport. Okay, you can actually go to the viewport under the renderer viewport options and turn on this thing called anti-aliasing. Turn on smooth wireframe so they can have a nicer looking wireframe for your model. So that is the completed model for this part. Okay, I will consider whether I want to do another part, right, to add in other details for this laptop.